Hello, my name is Connor, and I think this is the first time I've been in this seat in a while. I normally sit here when I do music reviews. However, this time, this is more of a reflection on the amazing experience that I had at the Next Music from Tokyo event, which happened about 3 weeks ago now. I had actually filmed this like a few days after I came back. However, I had a really bad sore throat and a cough and a runny nose, and the lighting was weird, and it was just not really usable. So I'm coming back now to finally talk about it because I want to talk about it so incredibly badly. What I will say though is that you will actually not be seeing a ton of me in this video because I have lots of like footage from the background and of the shows and just photos too. So it's kind of a multimedia sort of video this time. So I think I've made about 6, 7, or 8 videos about the event. And you can probably, understand why. 1, I was very excited, and 2, I was volunteering at it. So for that reason, I wanted to make sure that a lot of people knew about it so that they could actually go, because I've gone in the past and it was amazing, and it was amazing this time too. So in case you haven't seen any of my other videos, let me kind of give you the lowdown of what this event was and will be in the future too. So this is an amazing concert series that is all organized by one dude. His name is Steven. His name will probably come up a lot in this video. I want to say the tour started in, I don't know my Canadian cities very well. I think it started in Montreal. I want to say like way on the East Coast. I think that's where it is. Maybe Toronto. I don't know Canada. I mean, I'm American, so I feel like I have a pass a little bit because I just don't think about Canada ever all that much. So anyway, there were 5 shows total, and there were 4 bands who were performing. They are Banshimoku, Carpenter'sBlue, there was also Tattletale, and also Haku, and of course, they are all from Japan. So for me, I was unfortunately only there for the final 2 shows, and that's because I live in Seattle, Washington in the US, so I'm not a Canadian resident, so it's not hard for me to get over there. It is a, somewhat journey. I think all in all, it took me about 3 hours of a drive, which was actually way better than I was thinking it would be. So I'm very happy to be able to say that. So I believe I got there about 1 day ahead of the other bands, and that was primarily so that I could, rest for my journey. It was a lot. That way I could be a lot more prepared to actually help out when everyone showed up, because I believe everyone flew in from Toronto, I think. No, maybe it was Montreal No, maybe it was Ontario. I think it might have been Ontario. So yeah, not a lot to say about my first night there, so I guess let's just start on day number 1, officially. So the vibe for day number 1 was a lot of traveling and unpacking and transportation in general. I want to say it was about maybe 3 o'clock when everyone had finally arrived at the airport, and then they got through it, and then they had finally made it outside, which was very nice because I was just kind of hanging out that whole day. I had no real direction or anything. I just kind of hung out in the city, in downtown. I took lots of photos, obviously, and I had a fun time. Just kind of, lonely time because I didn't really know anyone in this foreign country. But so anyway, once I got to the airport, I was kind of having trouble finding where to park because it's a big airport, as, all airports are. However, I was lucky enough to spot the Haku members from like super far away. So I was like, perfect, there's all the musicians, super. And so after that, I drove over to them, and then I was in charge of the lives of Banshimoku. And luckily, there were only 2 members. However, they had a ton of gear, and that was what really filled up most of my car, which was kind of small, unfortunately. But, we made it work, so it was okay in the end, I guess. Okay, so one thing I do have to admit is that I feel like my Japanese was incredibly bad, like this whole week, only because I think I was so like anxious a lot of the time because like I was sort of starstruck in a way because I had been listening to all of these bands for months and months and months and talked about them on video for months and months and months, that I was a like knowledgeable, almost like pseudo super fan of like each of these bands at that point. And for that reason, I was like, oh no, I'm like in the car with like so-and-so, or like, oh, I'm next to so-and-so, I'm so nervous, blah, 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 blah. In hindsight, super lame, I know. But I guess I maybe could have performed better if I didn't like any of the bands maybe. So maybe that's what I'll try for next time. On the way to the hotel, I mainly talked with the drummer of Banshimoku, who is named Yamato. I was obviously in the driver's seat, and then he was in the passenger, and then in the back was Shion Chiga, who is the guitarist and the lead singer. And yeah, I think Yamato and I just kind of really shot the shit for the most part. Like I was like, how was your flight? How is Canada so far? what's your favorite word in English? And I think Shion and Yamato had both answered fuck or shit. Naturally, with them being musicians, I feel like that just kind of goes hand in hand with, swearing. I want to say after about half an hour of driving, we finally got to the hotel, we unloaded everything, and then we waited for everyone else to come. So I guess I should also mention that I had only had room for 2 of the members of the Banshimoku party, as it were. Alongside the 2 main members was also their manager and then also a support bassist as well. So I think they were in someone else's car because they were not in mine. But so anyway, about 15 minutes later, everyone else showed up and it actually seemed to go pretty smoothly for the most part. I think Steven was having a little bit of trouble with the reservations because I want to say there were maybe 15 or 16 people total, and for that reason, that's a lot of lives to manage and also organize and make sure everything is on track. So one thing that I really learned is that Steven did not have an easy job in the slightest, and I think the fact that he was managing it and not having a nervous breakdown was really admirable and kind of amazing to see day after day, hour after hour. Though I will say I think that's mainly due to the fact that he's been doing this for over 10 years now, so he for sure has a lot of experience in these kinds of hard, difficult, confusing situations for, managing members of a tour that do not speak the native language of the place they're in. So he seems very well equipped for this kind of trial, And then after that, I want to say half an hour later, we all left for food that night, which was really, really amazing Malaysian food in downtown Vancouver. It was so good. And on the way there, we stopped by the waterfront and everyone had lots of photos taken and they took lots of photos and lots of chats. It was super, super fun. I took a ton of photos because, man, it was beautiful that night. The vibe was wonderful. And everyone was just so happy to be there. After a brief walk, we then got to the restaurant. There were, like I said, maybe 20 of us at that time. So we had to split between 2 separate tables. So in my case, I sat next to one of the other volunteers who was named Leo. And then to my front was the drummer for Carpenter'sBlue. His name is Kenya, super cool. And then to my left over here was the backup singer and also the rhythm guitarist for Carpenter'sBlue as well, who is named Tepe. They are so fantastic, love them so much. And actually, their English is really, really good, especially Tepe. He was kind of going toe-to-toe with me every so often. Yeah, that was pretty much the end of the night for the most part. We then left the restaurant. I think at that point, everyone had really drunk a lot, and so everyone was very, very talkative. And then after we said our goodbyes, I went back to my hotel. I slept, and then I got ready for show day number 1. What can I say about night 1? It was really, really hectic because we had to move all of the equipment and then also all of the people and then also all of the actual equipment for the stage, such as speakers and, just all kinds of stands and stuff to the venue. And that took a while. That took a lot of real effort from everyone involved. And, we got it done. We just made it happen. I think it was this day as well that I was in charge of driving Banshimoku, except this time I had all 4 members in my super, super small car. There is a photo and a tweet from the manager on the Banshimoku Twitter account where you can see everyone stuffed in my car, in my really small car. And it's just all of the members in the back trying to survive and not get squished by the weight of their instruments. I think maybe 15 minutes into the 20-minute drive, they were all talking about how this was the quintessential touring experience. So, they were primarily in high spirits. I still felt bad, especially when the road in Canada was not very well maintained. So there were lots of bumps. I think Shion might have hurt herself at some point. I feel super bad about that, but at that point, that's on Canada, So once we got there, I want to say it was about 4 or 5 p.m. and that was about 2 or 3 hours before the show actually started. So yeah, once we got there, all of the bands started doing their mic testing and their sound check, and we got through that pretty easily. It seemed like for us volunteers, we had a little bit of downtime just because, we're not on stage. We also can't really help with the sound check, so we just kind of watched, and man, that was my first sound check experience, and it was really cool. It's really cool seeing a concert when there's only 5 people in the whole venue, and it's almost like you have your own like exclusive concert, which was really, really cool. Before the show started, I also got a chance to talk a little bit more with the members from Tattletale, and oh my god, they were for sure the like hardcoreiest band at this festival, but they are like the nicest and funniest guys ever. That kind of contrast was just so funny to me because like they make screamo metal music, but then when they're not on stage, they're just like really happy-go-lucky or sleepy or like really even like hyper too. It was just like so funny to me. And actually, one thing that I had been told on that first night was the bassist for Tattletale, his name is Ayuna. He was so excited to get kissed by a Canadian girl while playing on stage. That was his mission. Will that happen? Find out at the end of this video. I'll let you know. So yeah, that's something to look forward to, I suppose. Okay, so now we can finally talk about when the concert like actually finally started. First up was the band Tattletale, and this performance was especially fun because I think it was Steven who was up on the mic and he told everyone, hey, you guys know turnstile and you know how you can just like jump up on stage and then jump off? Feel free to come up and do that. Go crazy.
Dancing okay. Dancing okay. Breathe on stage okay. All okay. Okay, come on. Come on. Sabat.
Unfortunately, that never really panned out for the performance, but there were a lot of like people who jumped up on stage and also stage dived. But yeah, I can't really describe this performance as anything other than insane and really cool. And I feel like that was the main takeaway from everyone at the venue too. And I hate to sound like cliche like that, but they really rocked it. They're all amazing musicians. And the lead singer Ryu is just such an amazing like screamer singer too. Next up was the band Carpenter'sBlue. And what can I say about Carpenter'sBlue that I have not already said in all of my videos about them so far? Okay, so first up, the lead singer, who is named Oma, is an incredible singer. And she has this almost, I want to say, Kaneko Ayano stage presence too. I just really have to say that she was so in command of the whole room. It was really like just amazing to watch happen too. I want to say I've mentioned this in a video, though I can't really remember. She sings a lot like Chiaki Sato from the band Kinoko Teikoku.
This band is from Machida, which is a city near Tokyo, close to Yokohama. And they're big fans of Kinoko Teikoku.
As you might know if you've heard me talk about them, I love that band. I love Chiaki. So by extension, I love Oma's voice too. She was incredible. Mention Teppei because he was killing it on the guitar that night too, as well as on vocals. And also, he came equipped with a glockenspiel, which he played, and that was super cute. Okay, so next up after that was the band Banshimoku, who at that point I was very familiar with because I had been in a lot of car situations with them for the past like 24 hours. On top of that too, I do want to admit that they were probably the band that I was most excited to see because I have been listening to their new EP like all year long. It's so good. Please check it out. So good. You won't be disappointed. Please. If you like punk music, you have to listen to it. It's all incredible. With all that said, naturally, their performance was incredible as well. And I cannot overstate or also understate how amazing of a drummer Yamato is. I honestly think he might be one of my favorite drummers alive now. It is incredible the work he does. He is so committed to his craft and he's so skilled with it too that it's just like an art form when you watch him just dance atop all of the drums. It's really, really something. I do also need to shout out their support bassist, Rui. He did an amazing job, great grooves, and he was like reverberating through the whole venue hall too. I loved how they mixed his sound. He was also doing a lot of photography too. That seems to be a side gig for him, or maybe the main gig and maybe playing the bassist as side gig. I'm not quite sure. His photos are fantastic though. And also, hey, in case you would like to see more, I will have a link to his Instagram in the description. And on top of that too, I will also link to the photographer for Tattletale as well. So those will be in the description. And then finally, we got to Haku, who were, I think, the band that most people were there to see from, you know, who I talked to in the audience. What can I say other than the fact that they were absolutely fantastic? They are also all wonderful musicians, and Ai is such a good singer, and she was playing these very complicated guitar rhythms at the same time, and everyone in that band is just so incredibly talented. Especially the drummer, who is named Mayu. I really became infatuated with her work once I had heard their song Day Day Day, which came out last year, except it was included on their EP from January, which I talked about in this video if you want to check it out. She is such an amazing drummer, and she really reminds me of, I always forget his last name, Fabrizio whatever from The Strokes. He is without a doubt one of my favorite drummers ever, and the fact that she plays like him is just more for me. Love to hear it. I think a week prior to the concert, they actually released their first single on their new label. This new single, which is called Sore Shika Ienai. No. Sore Shika Ienai, I believe. Is so cool. It's amazing. And Ai goes crazy on the vocals on this one too. Much like their claim to fame TikTok, she here utilizes some Hayaguchi kotoba. And that is just, you know, astounding to actually see and hear in person. She is one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my whole life. And yeah, that was night one. It was an amazing show. I could tell everyone in the crowd had an amazing time. They went crazy. Hopefully the band sold lots of merch, because they rightfully should, because they really kicked ass. Every single member that entire night. And then once everything was wrapped up, we all went to a nearby bar and we drank, and some of the members played some pool. And none of them really knew how to play pool, so the game went on forever until someone accidentally sank the 8-ball. And, you know, that kind of solved the whole problem. And now that takes us to night 2, the final night of the tour. There was a little bit of a lineup change. So, you know, Steven's idea was, I want Tattletale to go last, so everyone can go crazy in like the final moments of this tour. And honestly, totally the right move. So in this edition of Who's in My Car, I originally took Banshimoku, and then I came back for Carpenter'sBlue, and I think that was their first time in my car too. Before the show started, I had actually asked Oma, like, hey, you know, what's your set list for tonight? I am curious. You know, I really liked your show last night. What's the plan for tonight? And she looks me dead in the eye, and she says, it's a secret. So I was like, what do they have planned? I didn't really think about it much at the time. I thought she was just being secretive. I just had no idea how good of a secret she was keeping, because to my left, Teppei was practicing the guitar, which he hadn't really done on the first night, and that should have been my first clue, okay? Because why would he have to practice for the songs that he did not need to practice for the previous night? Suspicious, isn't it? Well, here's what happened. They all get on stage, and then after a small introduction from Steven, they start playing. However, it's only Teppei playing. And then I said, what are these chords? They aren't from one of their songs. And then Teppei got 3 chords in, and then he hit that 4th. And then I was like, oh, I think I should be able to play it from here. So please check out the video that I have for you. So yeah, they played the Canadian national anthem, which was such a cool way to start the show, and that got people so hyped. It was so much fun. That was such a fantastic idea, and I do not begrudge Oma in the slightest for keeping that a secret from me, because that was divine. One thing I do really want to mention when I talk about night 2 is that this was everyone's final night, okay? This was like 12 hours before they had to leave to go back to Japan. So I feel like everyone was generally kind of sad in a way, though also happy at the same time, right? I think everyone was sad because they were having so much fun over the past week. And then now that was coming to a very palpable end, right? So I noticed a lot of the members just doing whatever they could to enjoy like those final few hours. I mention this now because when Carpenter's Blue was playing, Shion Chiga in the back was having such a fun time. I was so happy for her. Mind you too, this was only one shot from the side, so I'm assuming, you know, more of the members of more of the bands were probably on the left side of the stage, probably doing that exact same thing, right? And so yeah, as you can probably imagine, their part went off without a hitch, and then the next band to go up in this case was actually Banshimoku. Everyone loves rock music, obviously. Everyone was there to see rock music, and everyone was so feeling that collective vibe. It was really, really cool. Now after this, Haku then played. They had actually changed up their set list just a little bit. One of my favorite songs of theirs is actually from that new EP from January that I mentioned earlier. This song is called Okubutai de Miru, I believe. I should check this, but I don't think I will. I'm kind of in the zone right now. They actually hadn't played this song on night 1, which kind of disappointed me, so I was very happy when they played it on night 2 because, like I said, one of my favorites, and they killed it. I feel like I really hyped them up when I talked about show 1, so this was just more of the same because they like hold themselves to, I think, such a high degree of like showmanship and skill that there's not really any change from show to show. They were just as amazing as night 1. What I do really want to spend some time talking about, though, is this final Tattletale performance, because I feel like you could almost feel the, you know, collective passion and also emotion from every member of all of the bands in this final performance. Because of that, I have a lot of footage of this night, so you're probably not going to see too much of me over the next few minutes. This was probably the craziest show I've ever been to ever in my life. During this final performance, every member of every band stood on the sides of the stage and watched, and they were smiling and some were crying. I really feel like you could tell in their faces that this experience really changed their lives and just really made them even more committed to what they were already working on musically, or maybe, you know, like artistically, just in general. All of the members were having so much fun. Lots of them started dancing on stage, and even Tepe from Carpenter's Blue stage dove. He lost his shoes somehow, and then luckily, I think he had someone return a shoe by hand up on stage, and then someone like threw the other at him. So it all worked out, luckily, but that was a very funny moment, I thought. One other thing I want to mention too is that there was this amazing moment where the cowbell for the drum kit, I guess, was loose and became unsecured and was moving around. And, you know, luckily Yamato noticed, so he ran out on stage. He was almost like a, you know, like NASCAR hit crew, or something like that. And he fixed it in like 10 seconds flat, and then he ran behind stage again. Absolutely, like, super cool move. I can't even believe he actually noticed that, because I sure did not, and we were standing right next to the drummer, so hats off to him. I just think Yamato was just such a fantastic person in general. I think I actually told him, I think before his set started on that second night, where I was like, dude, you're doing so good. You are such an amazing drummer. And then very humbly, he said, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And I was like, he's such a nice boy. I don't know. Of course, Tattletale is killing it on every single song all the time. Ryu going crazy. Ayumu going crazy. And speaking of Ayumu, we have to go back to that kiss I mentioned. Not only did he get one kiss, not only did he get two, he got three. He fulfilled his life's dream 3 times. And of course, all of the band members knew about this quest he was on, I suppose you could call it. And so when it happened, they all went crazy on stage, and they were just very happy for it. And of course, Ayumu was very excited about the experience as well. And again, I have to give a hats off to Steven. He was so correct in having Tattletale last, because that was such a unique experience. I think that experience was so formative for all of the band members too, that I feel like you could really tell that everyone's passion for making music was just emblazoned that night too, where there was this sort of like collective thought of, we've made it, this is it. Right? And it was just such a really emotional time for everyone. Like, of course, lots of them tearing up, and it was just so nice. Everyone was so sweet, and it really felt like everyone's hard work like really paid off that night, and also in that moment too. It was just wonderful. After Tattletale finished, all of the members then, walked up front stage, and then they bowed, and it was just fun for everyone. It was finally over. Lots of applause from the audience, as you can imagine. And then on top of that too, which I was very happy to see, was very long lines for merch. I am really hoping that the bands made a ton of money on like all of those nights, because 1, they earned it, and 2, I would have loved to, have as much merch as possible from these bands. And you know what? Speaking of that, let's talk about my merch. Okay, so what should we start off with first here? I think let's start off with Haku. So unfortunately, Haku sold out of that CD that I really, really wanted, that I have been like loving all year. So because they ran out, I instead got the, I think like lossless, the like high quality lossless version of it from Ototoi, which is a website I love. If you ever need to purchase Japanese music and it's not on Bandcamp, please go to Ototoi. They have everything. Or I guess maybe not if you're in the US, maybe you can use a VPN to get around some of the region locks. But for the most part, they have like everything. So like I said, unfortunately, Haku was out of a lot of stuff because they were so popular. And I think because I was really like, becoming friendly with the manager for Haku, he gave me $10 stickers for free. And I still don't know what I want to use these on. I think it's going on my sketchbook. I actually already have these stickers from Tattletale and Carpenter'sBlue on there. And also, I think Banshimoku as well. I just don't know how I want to use these because I like them so much. They are like very, very shiny and stuff. And I think at least one is going on my sketchbook. I think I might save more for future sketchbooks too. I am treating these very delicately because they're the only memento I have from Haku from the show, so I want to really not waste them, Okay, so I guess speaking of CDs, let's talk about some of my CDs. First up here, we have the Carpenter'sBlue Gario Tensei CD that came out in 2023. Now this is unfortunately only signed by Teppei and Kenya because Oma was kind of sick after the show, so I did not get a chance to get her signature, unfortunately. But next time I see them, that's when I'm gonna get it. One thing I need to mention too, the manager for Banshimoku is such a smart businessman, okay? Because he got Shion and Yamato to sign the cover of the CDs before the shows, okay? So because of that, you could just walk over to the stall and get a signed CD just ready to go for you. And yes, I can verify, they hand signed all of these before every show. I think it took them like 20 minutes every single time. So these are real. These are actually real. And then if you have this, it's real. So yeah, I'm very happy I have this. And of course, it's on my iPod now because I love my iPod. And then finally, I have the new single from Tattletale. This is signed by all of the members. It's just kind of hard to see because it's black ink on top of like the black art. One thing to note is that there are actually 2 songs on here. So it's not a single, there are 2 singles on here. And I believe they're both on streaming now as of last week. So if you want to check this out, you can. The name of the EP is Bubbling in English. I forget what it is in Japanese. It's also not on here, so I can't tell you right this second. There are 2 songs, like I said. They are both wonderful. And, you know, maybe if you check this out and you like it, go listen to their album from last year. It's called One Third. So cool. So cool. So cool, so cool, so cool, so cool. And unfortunately, it was not on CD when they were on tour. Otherwise, I would have had that too. But hopefully you can buy it soon because I know I want to, and I know when it is available, I will buy it. 100%. I don't care how much it costs me. Okay, and now aside from that, I do have some shirts. So I have shirts from each of the bands except for Haku, like I said. So here's the one for Carpenter'sBlue. I actually like this a lot. I love the design on the front and also on the back, which has their actual band name on it. This is beautiful. I am going to be wearing it all the time, especially next summer. I'm going to tuck it in to some pants and I'm going to look awesome. So thank you, Carpenter'sBlue. Next up is the shirt from Tattletale. This is art very similar to their CD. It is in black and white. I think the shirt came in like white as well with the same design. I just really like this one. I like black shirts, and this is for sure in my black shirt band t-shirt collection now. So thank you, Tattletale. And last but not least is the shirt from Banshimoku. I love the design on the front. I also love the design on the back. And one thing I really, really love is that for this shirt, they used a blank from United Athletes. I have a lot of shirts from Japan that are this same company. And they are so soft and they stay soft. And I love their sizing and I love their fit. If you can ever get a blank from United Athlete, please do it. They are absolutely wonderful. I do have a few more things, so I gotta go get those. So I'll be right back. Okay, bye. Okay, so shout out to the homies from Carpenter'sBlue because they hooked me up with some cool bag swag, all right? They were very nice to give me a free little, I don't know what to call this, like keychain thing for this bag here. Love it so much. One thing that was super cool, which I have never seen any other band ever do, is they were also selling bandanas, which were hand-dyed by the members. So here's the one I have. As you can imagine, because they are all hand-dyed, they are all unique, they are all different, and this is the one I got. I liked it a lot. I really like that splash of blue right there, and on top of that too, it says blue right there on the side. So yeah, this is attached to my Trader Joe's bag because I think the blue on blue looks sweet. Though I have attached it to my wrist like every so often when I wear a denim jacket. I think that looks cool too. But for the time being, this is on my bag, which I use a lot too because it's the Trader Joe's bag and it looks awesome and it holds a lot. So, okay, so now let's finish off the story. That was the night of the second show. So then the following morning, all of the members had to catch their plane at about like 10 or like 11 a.m. And as you can imagine, everyone was so sad to leave. So sad. So after getting everyone checked in, we all took a big photo together. I was very lucky to get photos with everyone I could throughout the whole tour. And we, said our goodbyes and, like, see you in the future. Hope to see you again soon. Hope to go to one of your concerts soon. And then they all went through the gate and that was it. And then afterwards, the volunteers and also Steven, we all went out to get food. That was a lot of fun. We went to this like Jamaican Japanese fusion place. That was wonderful. That was like the last 5 or 10 minutes of the event, I suppose. Immediately after that, I drove home to Seattle. I think it took me, like 2.5 hours that time. Wonderful. And yeah, that was it. And then the day after, I got sick and then I couldn't record a video for like 2 weeks. So I kind of feel like I've spent a lot of time talking about the experience that the bands had, and now in this final sort of outro section, I want to talk about what my takeaway was. This was the best experience of my life, and I think for me and for a lot of the people there, it was legitimately life-changing in all sorts of ways. And so for that reason, I have to give it out to all of the volunteers and to all of the managers for the bands and the bands themselves for being so nice and for their friendship and for their helpfulness. And of course to Steven too. Steven is the mastermind behind all of this. It could literally not happen without him and because of him. And this is such a monumental undertaking that he undertakes at least every year, sometimes twice a year. So I just have to say thank you to Steven. I'm very, very sure that everyone else who was involved with the tour would also say that exact same thing too, because Steven is just an angel, especially because it's so hard for so many of these bands to really get any kind of publicity outside of Japan in the slightest. So I think the fact that he's able to not only curate a fantastic show every single year, but also spearhead it all on his own is so incredible, and he is such a modern day Medici supporter of the arts sort of guy. There is no one else like him, and I think he's really left a real tangible legacy for himself for the rest of time. And of course, I do need to shout out the managers for Haku and also Banshimoku too. They were constantly working. They were always taking photos or tweeting or doing some kind of marketing or taking videos or live streaming. And of course, they were also managing merch, and they did so much in a foreign country, and I am just astounded at just the professionalism displayed the whole time. And I don't know anyone who has that kind of work ethic. And they were, I think, very much instrumental members of the bands themselves too. So shout out to them, they were awesome. Okay, and finally, I think that's it. I think I've said my piece. I think I have also expressed what I want to express in that this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, and I feel so incredibly lucky to have been a part of it for months and months and months. I didn't want to say how involved I was at first, just because maybe my plans change, maybe I die or something, so I didn't want to hype myself up for the event. Oh, and also too, I probably should mention that I did not get paid for any of this, so this was not sponsored and neither was any of my content. I was purely a volunteer, so there was no collusion in the background for publicity or marketing. I was just happy to be there. So yeah, so zero sponsorships. So just to get that officially out there. I feel like I don't need to, but I feel like I should. So in synopsis, you have to go. You have to go next time. You are missing out on so much fun and on so much music. And I think you will also have a life-changing experience, even if you're not directly involved with the concert itself, because it is such a unique experience for anyone outside of Japan, for so many amazing bands to play for such a low price in so many locations across an entire country. I think you should go every chance you get, and I think you should subscribe to all of Next Music from Tokyo's marketing and communications and also social media, just so that you never miss it in the future, because you do not want to. So yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I will link to each of the bands and then also the events down in the description. And maybe if you like hearing me talk about Japanese music, stick around. That is all I talk about. That is my forte. So yeah, hopefully you got a lot out of this video. Probably not as much as I got out of this experience, but hopefully you got something. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around. Bye.